Welcome, freaking Sunday. Quite a nice move we had from last week, Friday and Tuesday. So yeah, let's see if that's going to be keeping up. We are still in the uptrend eventually, but there are some, of course, some negatives to talk about it and positive, but most likely we're gonna end up to watch out for some pullbacks. Right, so overall, let's see how VIX it's gonna be holding up. That's richly right now. We are again back at the support. Right, this is still the support that we are holding on. It's all gonna depend how we're gonna open up from tomorrow, and that's still in like I guess 12 hours, no 15 hours from now on. So that's gonna be depending. Like if we really gonna open up below 15.5 or something like below this, and we're gonna aim for the bigger stuff, support that we didn't get back at even December time. So we've been already like almost a little bit longer than a half year round tripping it. We're gonna get back there. We will see some potential of gains and moves into the upside more on the market overall, right? But yeah, that's gonna still a big support below us. But if we still gonna hold on the support right now, we seriously gonna grind it out, and we might do this whole breakout potential momentum, right? That's technically what it's building right now for it. Let's see how that's going to be holding up. But the main thing is we cannot, or yes, we can, like depends how you look into the market, but the line in the sand is break it or make it below the 15.17 down. Moving on Dixie, we finally see some pullbacks happening. Nothing major yet. We didn't break the $100 yet. We're still holding on. Still same scenarios with VIX. We still aiming to look how we're going to open up in 4 hour, 5 hour-ish on the market. So that's going to be depending. This is still holding on the support. We still can even go a little bit lower. That's not going to change anything yet from the whole uptrend. Right, pullback is fine, like we're doing right now. Regaining back at one-on-one, we start to get at the highs, and maybe we're gonna finally get that pop of the high, what we didn't do yet, but we are still in this whole uptrend, right? It's not still broken yet. This is as well what keeps me thinking we are not done yet with the whole bear market, and we still technically gonna aim for it, because the rotation of the money, right? So we are technically already rotating into the dollar, but we are not even fully yet there. So that's gonna be when we're gonna break out one-on-one-ish area. Then we're gonna get that whole uptrend into the resistance, right? Maybe even the previous high, and that's going to be the whole bear market tipping it over. Well, that's when the bull market starts. So we are not even halfway there yet. So yeah, moving on the total. Right now, what we are doing is just getting back at the previous swing failures, right? So that's the mid of the range. The high we still didn't reach yet, but we are starting to get a little bit more, cool off period. You manage that. If we start to get back at 695, we might even get back at the high, right? But then overall structure is still nothing changed yet, right? We are still facing downtrend potential of a pullback if we're not going to hold the lows and start to change anything like that, or maybe potentially get back at the high and then start to change. That's the whole change of character, but overall still downtrending, right? So yes, most of the tokens markets did had a really nice push from the lows, right? Because most of them did hit high time frame low on it. So yeah, that's obviously that we will have a bounce from it. But then overall the things start to change when we're gonna regain anything. Like so far, nothing yet regained the previous high even, right? Still potentially, right? We still can blast through it if the market opens and the weekly opens or whatsoever, but still that didn't happen yet, right? So for gold, technically, yes, you are the resistance. That's the mid-range resistance, but the bigger stuff when it matters, it's over here at 4 point, technically 3 point, yeah, things. So that's your whole resistance area over here, right? This is the main resistance. We are not even closed yet, but potentially, yeah, that could bring us a little bit more higher even. Same thing on silver. right? We broke the low massively, so the aim is to flip this whole RSI flip, right? That's the flip what we technically did to get us lower. So that's the main area over here, right? So not anymore this is point of view and point of interest, but technically this is your whole RSI right now to flip. Nasdaq starts to build a squeeze. So technically the whole area and what's happening, we did pop the low, but we regained that high, and right now we are holding on a higher low. So yeah, we are technically in this whole squeeze potential I've been mentioning. We could carry on for a while, pop it, and then do one more maybe. Let's see. But so far it's still kind of strong till we're not gonna be back at the 28.4-ish area. SpaceX still, I mean, it had a really nice run up. Like if you're gonna aim for the 4-hour-ish, we did settle a new high, we are holding a new low, so we could potentially get back at least at the 184-ish area, but it's a little bit more in the range, right, scenario. So if you're gonna look a little bit more into the low time frame, 1 hour looks a little bit more better, right? We still have a gap above us, but then yeah, holding the lows, it's gonna be better right now, and flipping the high, that's the whole area that you want to flip. If you set a new high on it, then yeah, you're gonna get a little bit more into the 200 area if you did buy it or whatsoever it does interest you. Dominance start to tip over. Let me just put it on back at, yeah, so dominance start to tip over. That's kind of good good area for Bitcoin as well, right? We see the correction of the movement, but we that's yeah, that's still good for Bitcoin, but then alts need to like move with it as well. We did see that on Friday and a little bit on Saturday, but that's still nothing major comparing that what we can have. But yeah, overall that's good that the dominance start to tip over, and let's see if we're gonna break that finally 57-ish area that we've been like freaking massively struggling with it. And do we have any? Yes, we do have gaps already below us that we technically filled already. So those been already filled, but that the whole massive momentum move what we had from the low, right, into this whole underside retest still, right, this is still gapped up. So not something sustainable, not something that I would like to see, not really something on the low time frame. But yeah, just watch it. They've been filled already, so that's fine, but it's still like if you gap that hard, there's a lot of unsustainable pressure to it. So then let's move on. PIX, we had it already. Let's move on. Capital flow. Well, we do see some flip on the daily time frame and even on the low time frame. Is that obviously from Friday area we still are quite down on the stable coins, and the whole oscillation flipped in, yeah, quite the third and the second one between that way. So for me, that's technically when I'm looking at it, it's like, it's not that I'm too bearish on it, but that's more like I feel we are trying to trap a little bit more longs into the whole scenario, just because we didn't flip the whole high time frame structure yet on it, and that's going to take time for it. But then if you look at back at weekly scenario, the only thing what we just did is a small pullbacks on anything, right? So nothing changing yet on the high time frame, just a low time frame stuff, right? So over here, if you do see like a massive inflow, like from out of the blue, and just because you settle a new low, that's sad, because all of the orders have been filled from the lows and just push the price into the highs. Nothing major yet, because like even on 4 hour, you didn't change shit, right? So that's still the scenario, like you need to regain the previous high, or at least regain the resistance for it to settle the price down on the support, and then you might even think to go higher, right? Anything going right now up, blasting through the highs, yeah, how hard it goes up, how hard it falls. But yeah, anyway, daily it start to cool off a little bit as well on the Dixie VIX, and silver start to pick up, so watch if those two start to regain stuff. But yeah, the rest of the markets are nice and high, that's fine, but then still If we start to reverse this whole scenario, it's going to be a nice drop. Watch it, okay? Just be aware of it, because all the way the high time frame still it's untouched, okay? And then the biggest stuff on the daily. Now, yes, we do see a nice inflow of money flow. That's fine, right? That's been the last time we saw that was in May, 15, 14-ish May over here. That's cool. That's fine. That's awesome. But then we need to sustain that. How do we gonna do that? Now, first thing first, we need to flip 64.4 and even coming close to 66. Right? That's the area to regain. Now, where are we right now? Technically, we are right now to grab all of this whole high time frame spot. Right? Last two times we didn't barely touch them and then we reversed from it. So watch it, right? The whole daily close right now, that's going to be quite meta if we're going to close it below the previous daily. If we're going to close below that, yeah, we will retrace maybe even to 60.2-ish whatsoever, right? Or even lower. But still, like low time frame, we still have some support below us. That's fine. But then we are reaching for the high time frame stuff right now. And this is the whole resistance area. Right, like easily said, like the whole band even retrace into that area pocket right now. So yeah, we are taking the whole core liquidity already from the market. So still, if that's not going to be flipped, and by that means you're not going to be below, above 64.7 or even above 67.2, right, doing something like this and setting the price over here as a range, I'm still not gonna be putting any longs on it, right? Till you're not gonna do something like that, something ballistic like that, and you're gonna aim for like a high time frame stuff at fucking 70k even. Okay, it will be quite a matter how we're gonna close the weekly, just because on the weekly time frame, Viking mentioned that as well. Oscillations start to build the regular divergence, but the thing is on that one, and I found it quite odd. Because Viking mentioned that from the last bear market, right? So if I put it over here, that divergent, right? The only difference between that is that divergent been closed on a bullish candle, right? Now, the one that we're having right now, it's not on the same candle. It's a candle before. So for me, technically is that candle closed in a quite divergent area, and right now we are playing it out. So yeah, till we're not gonna close that weekly candle, what we are right now above or this RSI flip, right? This whole flip, so it's not gonna be above 63.1. I doubt it. All right, that's the whole area. Why? Just because, think about it, like in the blocks, this is the whole resistance and you are below. You need to regain that, right, to go even on ticking, even to get back at 70k. So far, if that's going to be holding us, we're going to close below. Yes, the next candle can go higher into the resistance, but that's going to be just a continuation into lows, right? Because we will retest any of those highs then, apparently. So yeah, that's the whole thing about it. Still in the quite spread into the lows, 51 on the large caps on the weekly, and heavy in negative of the money flow. Right? Yes, the oscillations cool off, but that oscillations play so long for it to even flip. Like over here, we've been even massive from the top. Like even from here, we've been already cooled off, and we went lower massively. I seriously doubted. I'm really doubted we're gonna do this whole bear market and couple candles on the weekly just because we retraced 50%. Like it doesn't make sense. We didn't do even full rotation yet of, not even talking about the alts, but even like the rest of the stuff. Like even the Dixie didn't get back at above 102. Like there are so many things that I found it iffy, and not seeing it playing out like in next 100 days or even longer. But like it's too quick, in my opinion. But that's just my gut feeling. Cash flow still negative, right? We are getting close to the to neutral line and flipping it, that's fine. That's gonna only happen when the weekly or the daily is gonna start to close around 64-ish area above the whole previous high. Then we're gonna start to flip into the positive. That could be nice, right? But overall, yes, we do have a really sustainable positioning into the high, right? We had a nice move, fine, but we still didn't change anything yet on it. So is this a bull trap? That could be, right? That seriously could be. We did it before as well, and multiple times, and they play quite well. So this really could be. How do we look on the 12 hours? Yeah, we start to get a little bit more overheated, but still, right? We still didn't change anything yet on it, even on 12 hours, right? We didn't even regain or come close to regain anything. So squeeze potential, 1 hour start to flip. So that's starting to get a little bit more weaker. We still potentially could do and wipe all of those, like the small liquidity above us. But then we have a nice build up into the lows, right? We do see the squeeze coming in again. It's been playing out quite heavily the whole momentum move. Money flows start to get negative or holding below negative much more. MACD, like that's obviously starting to get down. Cash flow start to get negative. The only thing is the oscillation is still cooling off and changing, but then the strength is already negative. So from 5 you have like 4, sorry, from 6 you have 5 that playing out, plus the liquidity and the weakness start to pile in on it. So yeah, definitely it's gonna be a sketchy weekly or daily open. And sorry, I was just extracted by a different screen. Yeah, definitely it's gonna be a sketchy, and like I'm saying, like this is all just because to catch a little bit more longs and trap them. Like long and short is still heavy. Like obviously that's not gonna change in a day. Even let me pull it up so you know what I'm talking about. Easy. Yeah, you can. Right, so the 1 hour, like from the momentum that we had, let's say from Friday, where is this tool? Low, right? Highest peak. We did that whole uptrend move. We didn't come back even into the neutral line, like not even to the close to the long. To the middle line, right? To flip it or even try to flip the whole scenario on it, right? So shorts are not even heavier by all means. Still, we're not gonna flip that. Still, the longs are taking over, and that's still fine. Like yeah, if they start to long the shit out of it, like obviously we're gonna like fucking Max Payne nuke them or whatsoever sooner or later. But then still, like it didn't change. Last time we had it, same scenario, right? Oh my god, peak and then slow down, right? Same thing. What's happened over here? Peak, slow down area, right? Peak, slow down area. Like it's kind of obvious how it plays out, and if that's going to be the reason that we got into the lows, like fucking hell, we still doing this continuation momentum into the lows, right? Obviously, like there's not even need to look at the high time frame stuff for a long and short, because what's changing? Nothing, right? You didn't get back even below 58, right? Weekly, I still like sucks that we don't have 4 hour on it, but like weekly is heavily into the longs, and that's fine. Like break out and get back at 66 or even 67. Like that's gonna be punishing hardcore. All right, so that's a little bit on the long short. Like okay, that's back where it should be. So yeah, let's see. I still think we might do that one more wick, or like take out the long late shorts, right? And then we're gonna aim for the pullback, just because we still have much more support below us, right? This nice support right now. We are at support. this is a quite heavy support, and then we have one more below and around 58, 60-ish area. So yeah, there is still much more potential, better longs and safer longs to take, but so far we are aiming to go off after the whole momentum from Friday and last week, end of last week. Plus, I guess Friday was a little bit short day for the market and the companies in UK, in the US, just because they had their own celebration of New Year or whatsoever they do over there on the 4th. But yeah, moving on the 4 hour, still in this whole resistance, right? Yes, you can argue with me, we did regain this whole range over here, that's still fine, and even this hip, but that wasn't the hip that took you all the way down, because from this break, that's the high that matters, and this small hip over here before you broke the whole low on it. Okay, just to be clear what matters. So far, yes, we broke out from the whole 63.54-ish area, but still, this is still holding us down, right? The whole weekly high at 63.3, that's the whole weekly that you need to break or regain the RSI, right? It's not the high as in the swing high, but it's the RSI, right? So yeah, that's what you need to regain and get back at the high time frame liquidation. So this is all the bands that stacked over here, and then you still need to regain quite a lot of shit to even change something. But so far, still as a continuation, right? You could have a pullback and then do that again or whatsoever, but then yeah, I will say happily that we might potentially do a bigger move on it, right? Overall, like, the only thing that matters right now is if we're gonna fail the previous daily, right? It's gonna bring you even in the the stepwise momentum, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Those are the area that matters. If you start to get below June and Q3, yeah, then that's done. The whole move is done. Remember, where is it? Q2, yeah. So remember this. What we did, if I flip the whole chart from the Q2 open, if this is the Q2 open, run it up, retest, and then you're just gonna trade below. Now, that's what you technically don't want, right? So if you're gonna go into the Q3, right, if you're gonna see something like this and then a retest, then that's done. But the only thing that's gonna save you is to hold that in any kind of manner, right? That's your line in the sand, literally as the lowest level as you want to aim. That's the Q3, 58-ish area. So yeah. ALGO master, yeah, that's gonna be a lot of orders below, yeah. So yeah, as I've been saying as well last stream and the stream before, if I remember correctly, if and only if we're gonna break down into the new low and below 58-ish area, right, we will do that in stepwise, right? It's gonna be something like this, because there is like orders from 2 years, if not stacked. Where is it? Yeah, all of this, right? Like all of that stuff till we're not gonna break below 48, right? This is like from 2 years stuff. All of those orders are still waiting here. It's gonna be taken. So we're not gonna be doing this in one go. This is gonna be like freaking if and only if we're gonna break that low, right? That's only if. I'm not saying we're gonna do it, right? So that's gonna be like yes, one, yes, one, yes, and then something like this, maybe one bigger and whatsoever. We're gonna grind this shit out of it, right? So yeah, it might be through the whole summer. Well, most of the times in the summer we have that dead price action because it's summer, right? Everyone has summer breaks, so even in markets do have, but yeah, there is still a lot of support below us, right? We're not gonna break that, so that's fine. And like I said, I'm gonna change my mind if we're gonna hold that and regain some stuff and do some changing momentum. But so far, yeah, still mid of the range, high of the range, low of the range. Okay, well, that's a bit obvious. How are the bands doing on low time frame? We took out the most of the liquidity. That's fine. That's why I said we could push a little bit more higher in the high stuff. If not, we're gonna take care and get back at the weekly, and that's gonna be your side. That would be really nice to hold, but that's been already tested, so most likely you're gonna aim for a 60k-ish level. Well, weakness is on the low time frame, and it start to came in the 1 hour. After that, if 4 hours start to change, meaning the low been already tested, if you break below that, right, close anything below this, and you're gonna do something like that, yeah, that's your 4 hour change. Well, resistance is resistance, in my opinion. Money flows there to take out. I thought there was as well the reversal sign on 4 hour, but that was on the previous one. Oh yeah, it's flashing. Okay, so I'm not crazy then. One more thing. The reason why I'm thinking we are not yet there, and so far not even close, is just because of the capital flow. This is kind of a strategy that I've been following since last cycle bottom. And I've been quite vocal about it. The whole change and the rotation of the money, that's where everything is happening and start to happening, right? So overall, when we had the market bottom, let's pull this as well on high time frame so I can compare those two charts for you so you know what I mean. So yeah, market bottom, right? Let's say it was literally here, right? November 2023, right? That's 1 candle or 2 candles off. I don't care, but that's kind of the bottom like that you are looking for, right? So November 2022, right? I want this. So here, that was when the market settled down on its structure, right, as a bottom. Okay. Now, where was the flip of the rotation? It was already in January 2002. So it took a year for it to get into the bottom scenario, right? So technically, you're looking for something like this, right? The whole money flow start to flip in January, and then the bottom start to find itself in November, right? That's this is what I'm looking at, right? This whole scenario over here. Okay. So where are we right now? So if you look for the whole flip, technically that should be as well a little bit more over here. So somewhere in December, right? If you look for the directly flip from Dixie and Bitcoin in this scenario, right? And the market, the whole market capital, right? So what we're looking for is something, let's say like this, one further, right? So here, January, nice, right? So yeah, where are we? We are technically not even in quarter of this whole momentum move, in my opinion, right? But that's only on VIX flip over here and a Dixie. But then when you start to go at the Dixie move, right? If you aim for the Dixie flip, there it is. We just did it. Now, I don't think we're gonna have a shallow bear market stuff. All right, so then that means, oh, that's 2027. When, now the next question is, when did the bull market start? Two things, right? If we're gonna think about the structure wise, right? Technically, it's started on this momentum over here when we regained the high, right? That previous high over here. But the confirm of that regain was in March, right? Because that was the high that you technically needed to regain. And the candle next, that's on a weekly, right? Just to be clear. In March, we did the whole, from March, that was the whole bull run, right? We didn't drop below that line even, right? Below the 24. We've been holding twice from it. And we did settle a high, higher low, higher high, higher low again. And we blast it off, right? From March 2023. Going back at the capital flow. So from June, then we have October. And if you're going to think about March, then we're going to look at something like this. Right? Look at that. So we settled on November, the low of the bear market. That was the low. It was the high that took us into the bull market, March, right? Look at the flip. Look at this. And look at this. So far, we are in this scenario. Right? That's why my whole, it's not only the gut feeling, right? And it's not only because I'm bear or whatsoever, or you can call me whatever you want, but it's more like, where is the money right now? And yes, it can take a little bit more longer or whatsoever, but then talking about the whole market, it's not the same. Technically, it's true, right? Because I cannot get around, I cannot wrap my mind around it. What we did over here last cycle, I don't know if people have been here and in that momentum of the cycle, right? The whole thing that we did over here, and we've been always talking since the whole bull market that we are extending the whole move. Okay, so if we did the bull market and we extended by quite much from the previous one, and right now we are from the top into the momentum that we are right now, only 50% down, us in a discount, right? So why we only giving the bull market the option for to be extended, but not for the bear market? Right? Because last time 50% from the bear from the top to the 50% in the discount, we've been over here. That was the price section over here, right? That's why technically, and I know this is a little bit odd thinking, but that's why I'm still thinking this and this, that we are literally over here. Because the next move into the lows, that's another, technically it was another 50%, right? But it's take it or break it because you measuring from the not from the same measurement, right? So it should be like around in total 74, 78%. That was the whole from the top to the bottom, right? Okay. If we're gonna aim for that 70, 80% measurement, right? That's why my whole gut feeling about it that we're gonna change just because I don't think so. I have a hard feeling to believe that the bear market is gonna be shallow. I think it's gonna be even much more painful than what we did over here. Because like think about it, what did we had, like, okay, news wise, right? People like news, people like the news events, people like the FUD and talking about the big stuff. Okay, what's happened last couple of weeks? Binance got hit by MICA in EU. Did we see any kind of reaction from the market? Most of them, they cannot use USDT. Every single position that's been already open on those exchanges need to be closed out, no matter what. Where is that reaction? Did we see that? Not really yet. right? There wasn't any kind of quote unquote black swan event about that, right? The whole shenanigans about the MicroStrategy and the regulations of that, or that they're looking into them, right? That didn't even like settle anything or works out for any kind of market yet, right? He's like struggling as much as he gets. So there is a shitloads going on, like there is, and it's gonna be even much more, right, going on. Yes, alts are fucking down, obviously, right? But they still can go down, and it doesn't mean they need to survive whatsoever. The only thing that needs to survive is Bitcoin. There is nothing else than that, right? Just to be clear. Yes, that's that divergence over here. That's only gonna see over here. We don't have it. That's only gonna be if and only if we're gonna be above 63.5 closing the weekly. Yes, it looks similar oscillation wise, right, than the previous one, but I have a hard time that this is it, right? This is gonna be the bear market, like this, and from now on we're gonna do something like this, just because we are 50% down and most of the big guys are buying this shit up. Well, why didn't they do it over here? Why was that not the bear market and we went lower? So yeah, it's something I've been thinking about it. Like I shouldn't be off this weekend, but my mind like was a little bit more calculating things and putting some scenarios into place. But still, like high time, don't get me wrong, and that's as well. Like everyone will tell you, we are wrecked on it, no matter what's happened over here. Right, the whole price action wrecked until you're not gonna regain like at least your previous March open on a weekly to change something and get back even at 82k. That's fine. But then still, you need to regain 80k to get even at the all-time high. Not really seeing this yet. This is the only scary thing for most of the people. I think that's why. Just because like losing this low, what we already did on the monthly, because we did close below that, like there is nothing till we're gonna get back at 30k. So that's the, you can see the number, 89%, that's 90% up. Jesus. But like getting back at least at 30, yeah, there you go, 40k, another 30%. So there it is, you're 80% of the discount, right? Doesn't mean you need to do it, but just by going by previous markets and what we settled and the way that we've been dealing with the bear market, like technically 440 days from the low that we settled. Okay, let's say from the previous low, not the lowest low, just the whole bear market, 390 days. Okay, so let's say that's going to be the candle, 390 days. That's even in August next year. There are multiple ways how you can look at it. You should do as well your own like research and your own like calculations about it, but this is a little bit how I'm looking at it based on capital flow, right? It's not something that I'm a speculator whatsoever, but just showing you the capital flow and the money flow of it, like where we are heading, god damn it, and where we are right now. So even if I'm gonna switch this to the weekly, right, like barely we got at the 60% of Dixie, right? Last time we had that, like even before, so November 2021, we've been in the 60, we had the pullbacks, and look at that, we've been like sticking to that whole momentum like for a year. and then we started to flip it before we had the run up. So there is a lot of things that need to be considering before we're gonna have all-time high stepping. And you have as well different markets, right? I'm focusing right now on the Bitcoin, but then like I'm not even talking about the Nasdaq, SPX, right? Like all that shenanigans. So yeah, there's a lot to it, a lot to it. But yeah, I think that's interesting. And this is as well something that I'm looking at it. Where are we right now? Right? If you're gonna put everything into the boxes just to make it like visualization for yourself better, like on a weekly, this is the box that you need to get back at it. Where are you? Technically, you are below that, right? And then you have one more, the breakout. For it to change this, right? The only thing that's safe you to do something like this price action from the next week, if you're gonna have like straight up 5 or 4 weeks bullishly like that, yeah, that's done. Pull back and then go. Not even like that deep. Like you can do 3 weeks pullbacks, something like this, and off you go. That's gonna be the change, right? That's quite clear. So yeah, that's all, I guess. Watch the price action. I would suggest you quite close, because right now, like, yeah, Viking is not wrong with that weekly is matter how we're gonna close it, but closing close to 63.3 will put you in a divergent mode. But like I say, it's weirdly it prints on the previous candle, not on the existing one, and it's not on the bullish one but on the bearish one. So that's what's throwing me off a little bit from it, and from the whole idea that we might see that the same pattern printing out. And still, even if that prints out, like, I'm not that whole convinced we're gonna do that. But yeah, I'm interested what people are thinking about it and what they aim for, and what kind of price action and what kind of bear market we're gonna get. If you have any thoughts, let me know, DM me or put it in the comments. But so far, I don't think we're gonna be that shallow and that short of a bear market. On top of that, let me pull it back. Where is it? Over here. If and only if that happens, right? That means groups. That means we're gonna get back at the accumulation phase early, and then the bull market's gonna be as well shallow, right? Now, halving, right? February, last time was in April. That was couple weeks or months, 2 months after the bull market started it. So every single thing from now on, and that's only if and only if the bear market's going to be shallow and we're going to do it in like a month or two whatsoever, everything will change from now on. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, we didn't do that yet. I found it hardly that that's going to be the way how we're going to change it. And no matter how much money is in the market, there was same thing over here in the previous one. And then even in the beginning, like that was a little bit shallow because it was a new thing and everyone was starting with it. But in the previous one, that was already a massive one. Uh, 4th of July is important. Yeah, I know, Rob. But yeah, I find it funny that the whole world need to celebrate independence for like what, a country that it's one of the youngest countries. Somehow no one is celebrating Polish independence or different countries. Are longs extended right now? I covered that in the beginning, but it's fine. I can put it back. Like I've been saying that as well. Like going by the weekly, we are still extremely high. We are not that extreme like 78, but we're still above 70. That's on the weekly. Moving on daily, we pulled it back. We didn't go lower than the previous high that we've been, so we are still at 61. Right, we didn't even come close to crossover, and then for all that means 1 hour. And that takes time, right, to change. It's not gonna be over doable. Low, extended move, higher up, go back, rocket, right, new high, new low, move up, move down, low, high, extended, move up, low. From May, end of May, we didn't get close to neutral line yet. On 1 hour. So yeah, still massive. And over here, if you want to even go to 5 minutes, like all of them, I'm not sure if this is even working correctly, but it should be, but all of it is above 59, around 60 into the long. So massive into the longs. Oh, look at that. But yeah, yes, we are close, right, to the accumulation, to the bottom whatsoever, but I don't think we are right now into it. I don't think so. I found it hard to believe into it. Most likely just because of this, right? What happened over here? We still didn't have this whole, I'm not saying we're gonna go there, but like the whole breakout of dollar. So where is the money then? If it's not in the market, where is it? Well, Stuntman, I appreciate the invite, but I don't think I'm gonna be allowed to come into your country just because, and that's only just because my Twitter feed and what I've been reposting. So I don't think I'm that kind of welcome in your country, because the ego of one person in your country, it's a little bit beyond, and you cannot say anything bad about it. So sorry. I think I'm much more welcome in North Korea. So yeah, like I think even I'm gonna be stopped in the Dutch airport. Like if I will be like trying to get at the airport over here to go to US, they will say like, yeah, maybe that's not the best idea or the smartest idea you're gonna do. So I will not go against them. But yeah, overall, this is whole my idea and thought about it, right? So yeah, not much yet changing it. And I always think, and for my suggestion for the rotation, the commodity still could go even lower, or if we're gonna see a bounce, that's gonna be like, look at the monthly point of view of commodities, like look at that, minus 30%, like already 4 months in negative technically, right? Now we still could even go lower than that, but that could be as well the reversal on commodities. Well, the money is gonna go over there then, right? Silver, same thing. Oil, well, potentially you want it as low as possible, but we're not gonna get the whole April the 2000 scenario. Unfortunate. Nasdaq, what's the monthly doing on Nasdaq? Like, I'm sorry, but this is still breaking out constantly. Not even a sign for it. That looks really oddly strong. But do we have more? Where is SPX? Yeah, for things as SPX, all right. And I think the most important one should be this. No, it should be this. Right, the whole bubble scenario. Like, do you think we're gonna reverse right now, when like in 3 months, into the whole bubble, and then we're gonna nuke? Yeah, I mean, Rep, I know it's not only X, but like different kind of portals or whatsoever you're using. And well, yeah, you cannot say something bad about Trump. So freedom of speech, right? I do every day. Okay. Lucky you. And there is another second question. Do I want to go to US? Well, if you will ask me that like maybe 15 years ago, I would say like, yeah, I would like to know the culture. But right now, no, there are better, much better places in the world than that shithole, if I might say so. And even I'm living in a shithole in Holland, so believe me, there are much more better places. I was planning to look for something, but I don't remember what I was looking for, so sorry. The stone. Yeah, I saw it in the movies. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, there you have some beautiful countrysides and like some really amazing nature. But still, like we have it as well over here. Yeah. Shoot a bear, shoot guns. Yeah. I'm not 10 years old anymore to like that stuff. Like drinking some really shit alcohol and fucking shooting a gun. Like I used to do it when I was 10, like playing around with fake guns or whatsoever, and stealing some liquor from my parents' basements with friends. I used to do it. I'm not that guy anymore. That doesn't do to me anything. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little bit more different on my mentality, but no. Like I said, if you would ask me 15 years ago, like 1-5, I might say like, yeah, let's go to US and have fun. But now I was like, there are much more better places. And believe me, I kind of, not that I know a lot of them, but I used to travel a lot in my 20s when I was a chef. I used to work in restaurants around the world, so I saw quite a lot of places already. You don't need to be grown up. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's how your country works. Yeah, that's why. It explains a lot. A lot. Yeah, I agree. This is gonna be much more interesting from the next week. How we're gonna open up on the wicks. If we're gonna break up, then yeah, we might do a big ass push. But let's see. Overall, yeah, still aiming to go a little bit lower. Well, this was already quite a big shenanigans on 4 hour over here. What's happened? The daily open. That, because that reversal, that sell off over here should break you down and push you lower. But and oh fuck, I remember that. That's what I want to show. Is that it? Wait, 60? Yes, that was it. Here. That's the look at that block over here. See this whole massive block? That's big ass. Like no kidding, this is big ass. Right? And speaking about manipulation, that's what happened over here. that was the block that sent the whole momentum into the resistance over here to fill the fucking orders. There you have it, right? That should break you, because that reversal sign, that sell-off, that buyback of it, right? And closing even shittier, that daily open shouldn't even exist in the first place. But just because of that block, it was sended. Then without going, well, it no longer go. Okay, you guys talking your redneck shit. Cool. All right, but yeah, anyway, low time frame. The only thing that matters right now is to come back and close anything above 62. Right, that means we're gonna just do the quite a pullback. You still can reverse and do the retest for the continuation, right? But then next step is support at 61.4, and then of course that fucking manipulation over here that created support at 61.1 as well. And there is one more big ass that you technically want or don't want, it's up to you. Don't lose, is 58.5. right? That's the whole scenario, and for the next week that we gonna see. But then right now, flipping the previous weekly, right? That's the 63.3 area. That's the whole RSI flip. Flipping this, you will start to get at the high time frame stuff, liquidity. Hope that's clear. So yeah, by all means, that's gonna be a quick one. Oh, fuck, quick one. Yeah, 1 hour, because I need to attempt a birthday party of my friends. So I'm gonna enjoy my Sunday evening. I might be back, hopefully not too drunk, before the weekly open, and see what we're gonna be dealing with. All right, but yeah, watch it, and be aware of what can happen, and show me your own ideas, what you think, what we're gonna do in the bear market, and how we're gonna be behaving. So far, my gut feeling and the scenario of capital flow, it doesn't show that we might do that soon. But yeah, I hope I'm gonna be wrong, and you all can prove me, and you can all laugh about me. But if so, that's it for me. Thank you very much, and I will see you Wednesday. Bye bye.